Yeah, we went down to Chile. We were down there for a month. Got a new speed coach, a guy called Craig Branch, who used to race on the Australian ski team. So we've got a new coach. So we went down, did a little bit of racing, mostly training though, just sort of getting a good pre-season in there, ready to sort of crack on with the winter. Unlike last year when we had a bit of interrupted through the glaciers and stuff. You know, down South America, you can't help but get good quality training.
Yeah, you didn't go to the Alpine glaciers at all then this summer?
No, we didn't go down. We didn't go to Europe at all. I mean, it's expensive as well, and it's been a bit unreliable the last couple of years, sort of with missed days through wind and weather and stuff. So, no, we decided we'd go down to Chile. We'd do a long camp so that we made sure we got good quality long stint down there.
You mentioned expense just then. That's obviously one of your major problems at the moment is financing the whole thing. You're getting very little money at the moment coming in. How do you finance it?
Mostly it's through sort of personal sponsors and stuff, but they're few and far between at the moment. But we do what we can. I do a bit of coaching in the summer to try and keep money coming in, and just trying to get by with what we've got. It's not a lot, but it's not been, and we've not had it any different. So it's not been really well funded, and now all of a sudden we're sort of scraping the barrel. It's been the same for a while, so it's kind of something you get used to, unfortunately.
And how does that manifest itself? I mean, say in Chile, you're out there with a very small team. What have the other teams got that you haven't got?
Well, our technician decided he didn't want the job after accepting the job and was booked to come on the camp, and then he decided he was going to quit a week before we went, which kind of left us a little bit in the lurch to do our skis and stuff, especially when you're racing out there. You kind of, really important, especially in speed. I mean, I can do my skis pretty good, but not somebody who's that's their job, that's their sort of life, is to make a ski fast, and they're going to be able to do it a hell of a lot better than I am. So for that was difficult, and also the Germans have got oxygen tanks at the bottom of the piece and stuff, because up there you're at about 3,500 meters, I think, roughly. And so it was pretty thin for air. So
they're taking oxygen to keep their bodies going, and you're exactly. Not, obviously.
Yeah. So you're just sitting there at the bottom, and we're busy like panting and trying to catch our breath, and they're just there, oxygen. But I mean, quite a few of the teams have that, and hopefully, at some point, we'll be in a situation where we can have that as well. Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, but like I said, it's something that you just got to deal with, and if you let all that stuff get to you, then that's kind of, you're adding to your stress levels.
And you've also presumably doing a lot of fitness training as well while you're in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What does that envisage? What does an athlete have to do to reach the levels that you're at?
I mean, we train sort of 6 times a week and get one day off. But I mean, it's never like a day off. There's always go and play sport or something. But it's what we enjoy doing anyway, so it's not too bad. Now I've got a new strength and conditioning coach, a chap called Ro, who's been helping me personally and stuff through the summer, and he tailors my diet around my weights and all this sort of stuff. So it's really sort of personalised around what I need, and it's taken into account what my fitness levels already are, what my strengths are within training, what my weaknesses are and stuff. So I mean, a lot of weights actually, trying to bulk up and put on a bit of mass and get fitter and stronger, and sort of sprint sessions and making sure I stay on top of the cardio.
Do you ever have any doubts? I mean, obviously, you've got to be pretty determined to do what you're doing. Do you ever worry about it and think, why am I doing this?
Yeah, sometimes, but I think that's normal. I mean, no matter what your job is, you're going to go through good days and bad days and stuff. And as long as the good days outweigh the bad days, that's all that matters. And when you're having a rubbish day on the slopes and stuff, it's pretty tough. When you're forking out to spend all that money yourself, and you have a bad day or a bad race or whatever, that kind of gets to you. But then, as soon as you get a good result, that it just eclipses everything, and it's just the best feeling. So it's kind of, as long as the good days outweigh the bad, I think that's all the fuel you need to keep fighting.
And you specialise in the speed disciplines, the downhill. There's been some changes to the race skis that are coming in, not for this season, but for the following season, where they're basically trying to make them go slower and shorter. Well, what's your view of that? A number of other racers have spoken out against them. Are you in favour of the changes or not?
I can see why they're trying to do it. I think they've gotten around it the wrong way, but they've kind of lengthened the skis and made less side cut, which, I don't know, in theory they're trying to slow you down, but I'm not really sure how that's really going to work. I mean, maybe it will. We'll see when the regulations come into effect, but I think it mostly going to affect a giant slalom skier and that's not really me. I mean, we do quite a bit of training in giant slalom, but most of the time it's on the longer skis, which are changing. They are changing as well, but not quite to the extent that a giant slalom ski is. So I don't know, it seems like they're trying to make it safer, but at the same time, I don't know, I think they've got around it the wrong way. But like I said, we'll see if that pans out. I think maybe they should be looking into some other stuff. But
So such as what?
I don't know, I think, you know, the bit of safety equipment and stuff. I mean, we're flying down at sort of 80 miles an hour on sheet ice, which is just as hard as concrete, and we're there in, you know, carbon fibre helmet and a lycra suit, which just doesn't give a lot of safety to that sort of thing. You know, if we're on a motorbike track or whatever, you know, the ice is as hard as concrete, and they've got these massive helmets and these leathers that are all padded up with their airbag systems and all that sort of stuff. I'm not saying we should go to that sort of extent, but I think there's other ways that we could improve safety rather than trying to change the ski dimensions.
I mean, both Ted Ligety and Bodie Miller have spoken out against the changes to the skis. When you're racing against people like that, I mean, world names, especially someone like Bodie Miller, how do you feel when you see them sort of hanging around the start here, and you know you're competing against those sort of guys?
Yeah.
Are you intimidated at all, or in awe?
I guess when I first started doing World Cup a few years ago now, I think it was definitely, you know, a bit in awe of them, because you, like, you know, when you see a sort of a celebrity or somebody who you look up to, especially somebody in a sporting world who's done so much, someone like Bodie, and you get to sort of meet him and see him, whatever, it is a little bit weird, you know, when you're standing on inspection and you've got these World Cup and Olympic stars flying past you, or, you know, trying to come past and you're busy trying to get out their way or whatever, just because you know, you think you should. But I think it's really cool. I had a chat to Bodie actually.
I was going to say, do they talk to you?
Yeah. As Bodie and stuff, I think the language and that, we, especially at World Cups and stuff, we team up with the Americans and that for course reports and in inspection and that. So I had a little bit of a chat to him at the World Champs, and it was, you know, that piste in Garmisch was pretty tough. And I remember sitting chatting to him before I flew home, and he was sort of, I was at the top before one of the downhill training runs, I think, and he was just saying, that's pretty tough, and yeah, you just got to go, you just got to do it, and all this sort of stuff. And I was thinking to myself, you know, a bad day for him is sort of 10th, and a bad day for me is like a bit worse than 10th. I think, you know, different perspectives and stuff. And when he's saying it's tough, you know it's tough, because he's done a lot of difficult piece and a lot of challenging conditions. So that kind of is like, you know, when he says it's hard, it's pretty hard.
And what's going through your mind as you're in the start gate then? You're at the start gate of the downhill. I mean, you're at the Vancouver Olympics, so you've got the bib there behind you, and your souvenirs from the last Winter Olympics. What's going through your mind as you're in the start gate?
I think in the start gate, not too much. I mean, but it's the sort of 5 people before you go, or even the sort of hour before you go, especially at the Olympics, something that's so big and, you know, you've dreamt about for so long. And, you know, people always try and say, you know, just treat it like a normal race, and you're doing as hard as you can, but there's these Olympic rings hanging about everywhere, and there's just so much interest in the athletes and stuff. It was really weird for me, because, you know, World Cups and stuff, yes, there's a lot of attention, but not to the same extent. And so you kind of try and not let it build up, but, you know, it is the biggest race that I'm going to do ever, and it was just absolutely amazing. But in the start gate, just trying to, you know, relax, because if you do let the occasion get to you, then you will make silly mistakes, and you're not then concentrating on what you got to do, which is get from the top to the bottom as fast as you can. And if you start thinking about something else, then that's just something that's going to slow you down.
And once the race is underway?
As soon as you push out the start gate, it is like any other race.
Do you worry about the danger at all?
Not really, and definitely not when you're on the piste and when you're on the course. The danger comes into it a little bit, but that's every day. You know, I train that every day, the danger. So no, I don't think it crops up anymore. Occasionally, when you look at it, or if you look back at something and you're like, that was pretty close, or, you know, you think, you know, that wasn't the best idea I've ever had to try this move here or whatever. But again, you start thinking about the danger, and you're then going to back off, and it's already something that's going to, you know, make you slow at the end of the day.